G'day! How steep is this slope? In maths we call the slope the gradient, and we can work out the slope or gradient in 4 ways. These 4 ways are used to work out the gradients of mountains like these, but also the gradients of roads, steps and ramps. Let's see the first gradient rule. It's called the rise divided by run rule. Drawing a right-angled triangle will make it easier. The rise is the vertical length. The run is the horizontal length. Here's the first gradient rule. The gradient equals the rise divided by the run. If the rise going up is 3 metres and the run going across is 4 metres, then the gradient or slope is 3 divided by 4, which is 3/4. We can also change this to a decimal of 0.75. Now let's see the second gradient rule. It's really the same rise divided by run rule, but with one more step to change the final gradient to a percentage. Okay, let's go back to the first example. Remember that the gradient is 0.75? To change this to a percentage, you just multiply by 100, so the gradient is 75%. Now for the third gradient rule. This also is like the rise divided by the run rule with one extra step. The final gradient is written as an angle in degrees. We find that angle using a trigonometric ratio called the tangent, or tan for short. Okay, back to the rise divided by the run rule, but in this right-angled triangle, the angle of the gradient or slope is marked with the Greek letter called theta. In this rule, the rise is called the opposite side and the run is called the adjacent side. The tangent rule is that the tan of the angle theta equals the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. That equals 3 divided by 4, or 3/4. Now use a calculator to access the tangent ratios of all sizes of angles. This is what we type on the calculator to find the size of this angle in degrees. We type Shift tan, open parentheses, 3 divided by 4, close parentheses. The angle of the gradient is 37 degrees. Now for the final gradient rule. It's also like the rise divided by the run rule, but it uses Cartesian coordinates on a graph. Here's the rule with Cartesian coordinates. First, let's understand how the coordinates of the 2 points are written. Let's call this first point x1, y1 and this second point x2, y2. On the graph there are 2 points, 2, 1 and 6, 4. The first point is x1, y1, that's 2, 1, so x1 is 2 and y1 is 1. The second point is x2, y2, that's 6, 4. So x2 is 6 and y2 is 4. Notice that the difference between the y's is the rise of 3. And the difference between the x's is the run of 4. The rule does the same thing. The difference between the y's is the rise, and the difference between the x's is the run. So the gradient rule is y2 minus y1 is divided by x2 minus x1. That's 4 minus 1 divided by 6 minus 2. Now 4 minus 1 is 3, 6 minus 2 is 4, so that's 3 divided by 4. The gradient is 3/4 or 0.75.